Hey guys, great to have you all here. Okay, so I really think it's very relevant this time of life, society we live in, how everything is. I think this is actually like quite a serious conversation. Okay. The reason why I want to do this episode, I see it in my own personal life. I see it online and out there in the universe and everything, right? And I think it's very relevant and it's happening everywhere. I think everyone has experienced it to some degree, especially this day and age. Let's start with the idea of an apology is to apologize. You feel sorry and you feel upset, you feel ashamed, you feel regret because your actions made another person feel sad. All right. It's so easy just to go, oh, I'm sorry. Sorry can be very triggering for other people. I say this in one of my relationship episodes because everyone has lived a different life. Everyone has lived a different experience, even though we can relate to, oh my gosh, I completely understand what that feels like, or I've experienced something similar, right? When it comes down to apologizing, everyone apologizes easily. Like on the fly, oh, I'm sorry about that. No, I feel like sorry doesn't cut it this day and age, this world anymore. Sorry is always used as weaponizing, used as manipulation, used to just be, oh, yeah, I'm sorry about that. They're not actually sorry. There's no emotion to it. It's just what you say when you fucked up. We need to start to look at the tone on how we say things because that is going to give you more of an indicator where someone's at than, oh, sorry. Because sorry can be quite activating. And the reason is because people a lot of the time have experienced someone to just say sorry because that's the thing you say, or they don't actually have a feeling on that. Apologizing and actually being so like if you actually feel an emotion to apologize to the other person, you actually feel bad for holy shit, that was never my intention. Our intentions as humans, we don't want to hurt others. There is a 1% of people out there that do. They thrive off doing that, okay? I'm not going to say that there's not. There is. But with the 1%, you don't meet them as easily as you see online where people go, everyone's a narc. Okay. No, we all have traits of them because we are human at the end of the day. But when you fully understand someone who is by a lot of other things like behavior wise, constant behaviors and patterns that play out all the time. It's just constant. You really see that. You can see it through. I think everyone is always saying they're a narcissist, this a narcissist, blah, blah, all the time when I don't actually agree with that. Okay, until like you've really gotten to know someone and they've really shown traits of it. Abusive relationships are so different, but I'm just talking from a day-to-day basis. So everyone's intention, we're disregarding the 1% out there, okay? Because that's actually not common. That's why it's a 1% of actual people who are diagnosically or undiagnosedly actually are fucking narcissistic, all the things, all personality disorders, there's always a 1% chance. Okay. So we're just ruling out that and we're talking from like a normal perspective here. Okay. So disregarding that, everyone's intention all the time isn't to hurt. It's always to, what can I do better? How can I be there for you? How can I show up better for you? We always want to show up better for our partners, for our friends. We never want to be a dick. We have those feelings. Of course we do. So normal to have those feelings of like, oh, you're being an asshole right now and things like that. It's a human experience. We're all here to have an experience of all things good and bad, right? If we really want to label that. Everyone's intention, when we think of the word intention, everyone's intention is always good. We always want to put our best foot forward. We're always like, okay, I don't want to hurt you here. Like your partner isn't your enemy. All right. Or your friend isn't your enemy because this isn't just partnership. This is literally like people in your life, all family, friends, partners. Okay. All aspect, anyone in your life. Everyone's intention is for good. But are we uneducated on how we come across? Absolutely. Are we uneducated on how to even move in the right direction with our intention? Absolutely. This isn't shit you learn in school. It's not shit that you just figure out. It's by learning and working on yourself. Part of actually this whole healing that everyone wants to go on about, like, oh, I'm on my healing journey. You decide to live your life in awareness. I feel like it can be very disassociating, okay? So, no, you're not on your healing journey. You are choosing to live life in awareness, and you are choosing to get to know yourself better. And by getting to know yourself better, is a lot of us, especially if we're all in the same age gap, is that we're actually reparenting ourselves. Really want to say that because it's true. We are reparenting ourselves. When I mean by apologizing by your actions, so if you've done an action and it's upset the other person, you will instantly be like, holy shit, I regret that action. I feel so shameful for making you feel that way. That was not my intention, right? That's generally the three things, whether you know it or not. Okay. That's generally what comes up. So now the generic ones, which I'm not shaming these things to say, they're very generic, but it's to help start you guys. So if you need this help to go, how can I communicate better? This is what I want you guys to write down, have in the forefront of your mind, like kind of get familiar with, okay? Because these are good to start off with. When you start to really understand more hard conversations, communication, conversing, and things like that, you develop a lot more of a deeper sense. So these kind of become a little bit generic, okay, is what I mean by that. So these are very good. You should be writing these down, what I'm about to say. And yeah, so I will give you time to write down and things like that, or just pause the episode if I don't remember to do that. And so this is for when your action has hurt the other person, okay? And you say things like, I hear what you're saying and I see you. All right. I hear what you're saying and I see you. Very good, because you're addressing the other person where I hear, like I'm hearing what you're telling me and how this has come across for you. And I see you means that I'm seeing you in all of your emotion and everything that's coming up for you right now. That's actually what that delivers. That's the message it carries, everything like that. Okay. So I hear what you're saying and I see you. Okay. The next one I want you guys to write down is, my intention was to never make you feel that way. Very good. Okay. Because you're showing that my intention wasn't to hurt you, and I don't want to make you feel what you're feeling right now. That's what that's saying. Okay. And another one is, I'm sorry for how this has come across to you. All right. So when we say that, like, I am sorry for how this has come across to you, you are genuinely like, I fucked up and I didn't mean for it to be relayed in that way. They're all just different phrases you can say to people, okay? By doing these questions, this comes under emotional intelligence. I actually really wonder if a lot of people know what emotional intelligence is, because people want to fling that around. I need someone that's quite emotionally intelligent. When people say that phrase to me, what that speaks to me is that you need to do more work and your ego is playing out. If you feel the need that you've got to say that to someone, or just to make that statement, like, I need someone who's more emotionally intelligent, and I can shit you not that not everyone understands emotional intelligence. And I really feel like this comes from, maybe it's not gospel, but I feel like it comes from, we're more accepting on kids' emotions in schooling and in all of life now, okay? There's so much about that, which is so good. I'm not saying that's bad. But what I'm saying here is that because we're so open to that, everyone automatically thinks, oh, that's emotional intelligence. That's the scratching the surface to understand and to really be more patient with kids, and not even just kids, adults' emotions is actually bare minimum. Bare minimum. But we've lost that in society, that never was a thing, right? So that's why everyone's struggling. We are struggling because you need to reparent yourself. You need to fulfill your needs. So your younger you never got any of this because our parents didn't know any better. It's not to shame your parents. It's not to go fuck you. It's to understand, okay, shit, what do I need from me? What do I need right now? It's a very powerful question that a lot of people should ask themselves. What do I need? Like, what does little me need? So a lot of the time when we are feeling frustration, anger, and things like that, that's your teenager. And then when you're feeling really sad and down and out, that's your younger, right? So your adolescent and your teenager, or your toddler, teenager. What does little you need? Or when you're feeling like, holy shit, I feel really activated right now and I feel frustrated. My teenager's telling me something. What does my teenager need right now? A lot of the time it'll be validation, to be heard, to be seen. Sometimes our teenager will come out as I need justice. Like, justice needs to be served because you've been wrong. And that wasn't corrected back then, so it needs to be corrected now. This is what they mean by timeline. I'm not going to go fully into it, it's a whole thing. But on the basis of this episode, emotional intelligence isn't just understanding people's emotions. Emotional intelligence is understanding that, because that's bare minimum, but it's intellectualizing them. It's being able to intellectually understand what the other person is feeling and coming across. And a lot of people don't know that. And that's okay to not know. When I was in the dating game on everyone's profile, I'm like, unless if you embody that yourself, I don't think you should be putting that on there. There's a difference between people who embody it and people who just read a book, say affirmations. Oh, yeah, I know about trauma, and they just read up about it. Cool, that's great to know. That's the first step, is to read up about this stuff, to really get comfortable about it. But the embodiment is where you need to be uncomfortable. So you're comfortable about reading it, and it's like, whoa, what the fuck is this? Okay, yep, I grasp it. Then you got to get real uncomfortable and work on your own and embody that, because the more you embody it, the more you actually come from love. You come from understanding. You have a lot more patience because you understand. Going back to when we apologize. So the reason why it's like, why is apologizing with no action manipulation? Okay. So the reason why is because anyone can say sorry, anyone can apologize. So we're in like a pattern. So what we play out in our life is generally a pattern of what we've experienced as a younger self. Okay. So you're living out your life. When someone comes to you and go, how you're speaking to me or what you said comes across like this, and I don't like that. That's the person. And then you go, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'll definitely try to do better next time. No, you won't. That's a sign when people say that, oh, I'm so sorry about that. I'll do better. They won't, because they don't actually understand what you're saying to them. They're just saying that because that's what you're meant to say. The reason why is because they're not intellectually understanding why that hurt you. They haven't asked the question, and they're going to do it again. And it doesn't make them a bad person. They just don't realize that they will become a manipulator. And now this is going to be like, what the heck? Okay. What happens is that it'll be fine for a while, and then something will come up again. And you'll be like, hey, like I said to you, like, this seems to be a thing for you, where it keeps coming back around. So when people keep doing the same thing, they need to be like, they need to understand what they're doing. The 1%ers, which this conversation is not about, they will never get it. Don't waste your time. The end. All right. The conversation is about generalized everyday people, okay? Which you need to develop the patience to help teach them. And this is a very hard conversation. I feel like this is probably like one of the hardest episodes I've ever done. I could get a lot of backlash for this, because I know that this will rub a lot of people the wrong way. But I'm trying to be direct because I see a lot of it right now, and I'm like, this needs to be said. And this will actually wean out who the fuck is healed, if we want to label that, and who is not. When the pattern's recreating, so you go, hey, like, this is what happened in our fight last time. Like, you did this and this upsets me, and I just don't think you're getting it. It's not that that person doesn't want to try to understand. We sometimes, if we're the most, and this is, I do talk about this a lot in a lot of episodes, if you're the person that's more self-developed, because in a relationship, there generally is one person that is slightly more self-aware than the other. Okay. It is a thing. It just kind of is what happens. And so the person who is the most self-aware, and this can change, by the way. So it doesn't mean that you're better than the other person. I'll really put myself out there. I'm the most self-aware person most of the time in my relationship. All right. But sometimes my partner is more self-aware than what I am. And that really depends on the situation and what's happening. It doesn't make that I'm better than him and him better than me. No, that's just what happens with the dynamic, is that depending on what has come up and what you're upset about really determines who is going to step up here. So sometimes my partner is the one that's like, hey, which is great. You want your partner to grow with you. You want them to call you out on your shit a little bit, because you need to. No one's perfect here, right? So when we're in like an argument, a lot of the time I'm like, okay, hang on, no reaction. You're the most aware right now. How can I diffuse this? And we can actually work on it. Because when you fight, emotion is great in a fight, but emotion is not great in a fight when you both are like, bah, and you create this big explosion because it doesn't get anywhere. Nothing gets resolved. And then you'll have this big explosion. You'll both have a come down and there won't be any reconnect a lot of the time. So, what that means is that the actual issue won't ever get addressed and it will go under the rug. And it will keep going under there if that's the pattern that you play out in your dynamic. And so when that happens, it becomes like a seed. So, and then as life goes on, everything that you blow up about and you shove under actually always stemmed from that one seeded thing that you did the first time. It just creates so many layers. Right. So there's always going to be someone like you're going to chop and change, but generalize in like a normal, like in a most of the basis, there is going to be one person who is a lot more self aware. So the person who's a lot more self-aware needs to regulate our emotions. You're allowed to have them. So anyone who understands regulation, it doesn't mean that you suppress. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't feel. It means that you absolutely feel. You feel all those emotions. You regulate yourself to a calm. You're then able to go, okay, I'm reading what they're saying. I understand what their emotion is. Okay, what I now need, because generally, especially when it comes to men and women, we think very differently. So you've got to ask questions. So the most self-aware, you will ask questions. So you ask questions like, I understand you've said this. Now it's coming across like this. Is this what you mean? Or are you trying to explain to me in a different way? Because I'm trying to understand. That there, full emotional intelligence, you're trying to understand, you diffused your emotions because when your emotions are high, your logic is low because all you're seeing is emotion. You're blowing everything out. So anything that you listen to, anything that you think of the situation, you'll blow it out because your emotions are high. That's how that works. And so it's not meaning that you're dumb. It just means your emotions are so high, you need to regulate before you can understand what's happening and to read the situation for what it is. That is a thing. So when emotions are high, intelligence is low. But when intelligence is high, it means your emotions are low. So that means that, okay, you've diffused yourself. Because it's the same thing. It's like when you see red and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. And you're like, ah. And then until you just go, whoo, and you calm and you don't see the red smoke anymore, you see the situation for what it is. It's like you become an outsider, like, okay, wow, I blew up crazy. And I literally had a conversation today with my friend saying, it's funny that people are like, oh, but that doesn't come natural to me. None of this comes natural to me. Believe it or not, and I own a podcast, right? No hard conversation and confrontation does not come easy to me. I wasn't this independent. I wasn't this courageous. I wasn't who I am today. This is a byproduct of me doing work on myself. This is a byproduct of me of working on with coaches to heal a lot of the stuff I've gone through. I'm normal because I chose to be. I am normal because I wanted to heal. I didn't want to be held back from my past all the time. I want to live my life. Okay, fuck, that hurt. It was hard. And it was a time in my life that fucking shaped me because I needed it. It shaped me for the better. And now I want to heal the parts that have broken me from that time so I can move forward with my kids and enjoy them and not bring them into this. I don't want them to have the same experiences. I don't want them to have a shell of a mum to be like, my mum's so down and out. Poor mum. No. I want my girls to have a better life. I want them to live their life. I want to live the rest of my life. I had lost my dad when I was 26. So literally it happened all in a row. 26, I lost my dad. 27, I had my first kid. 28, I had my second kid. And it was such a, like the end of my 20s was a big life-changing experience for me. It shook my fucking world. 3 years ago was literally my year of like, I want to heal. I don't want to have this dragged out anymore. Considering my situation went into the news as well, it felt big. It felt bigger than what it needed to be. I can relate to celebrities on such a minor scale, but I can relate that They're working on their shit. The world knows about it whilst they're trying to work through it. Could you imagine that? At least that wasn't for me. Went through the news, but it felt that way because everyone who went on to the articles, oh, I can't believe like a woman like this, and I can't believe like how this person does this and da da da. Like everyone had something to say. And it felt so huge to me being like, oh God, because you know it's you. I was so broken and hurt from the situation. That's not normal. To then see it in the news and experience people just constantly being like, oh, I can't believe this. And then other people being like, yeah, high fiving that guy. Everyone had so many different feelings towards all. So I wanted to heal, and I'm like, I want to break free from this. I don't want to carry this for the rest of my life. I want to live my life. I'm young enough to live my life. I'm young enough to do and, to be with my girls and just live our best life. That's all I wanted. And so I did that in 2023. That year was me. Like I lost friends in that year and I healed a lot of my shit. I became so much more closer to the friends that stayed to me even to now. Like they've watched me from 18 to now to go through all of this, to sell a house with someone that I thought I was going to marry, to then come into someone and have like a bit of a toxic relationship with someone and have two kids and, I lost my dad and then come out the other side and then they get to see me now. It's very empowering for them, like, because they've seen me through fucking my shittest time. What I'm saying here is that we've all gone through a hard time in life, but it's whether you choose to move forward on that. I wanted to live a better life. I wanted to just put it all behind me. I've learned, I've had this experience, but I want to live my life now. I want to just move on and try to rebuild the best way I can. I'm still rebuilding. It takes time. The person I am now is because of all that shit that happened. And I chose to work with people to go, hey, okay, I need to work on stuff. And a lot of shit came up and I healed through it. And then I ended up blossoming this podcast out of all that. The thing here is what I'm trying to say is that we've all been through a fucking hard time in our life, regardless of what that looks like. And when you have people in your life and they're not understanding you, the person, what I mean by the most self-aware person, it's like the person who actually has worked on themselves probably the most. And that's not to shame anyone who's in your life. It's just you've got to be the one to help the other person grow. You've got to be the influence. You've got to go, okay, you're not getting it. And I need you to understand so we can become stronger and better and grow together. Because a lot of the time, and because I'm speaking from a normal point of view here, is that they don't get it. If you're in a relationship and your partner's just not fucking getting it, he really doesn't get it. And you've got to educate him. You've got to help him. All right, babe, you're not getting it. And I need you to understand my emotions to the best of your ability because men logically can't. They can learn that though. And that's going to be you're making me do something that's unnatural. That will feel unnatural to them. And if any guys are listening to this, like literally, if you want to be with such a beautiful, kind-hearted, loyal, trustworthy, self-development woman who's intellectual, emotional intelligence, you've got to get on board with doing that yourself. And you've got to try to understand, okay, emotions. I don't know anything, but she's also going to help you understand that. And if any woman doesn't do that, she's not really embodying it. We will help you. We will help guide you. And even if you're not in a relationship and you just have friends around you, they're not going to get where you're at. So you're going to need to teach them. It's about like, okay, well, it hurt me because of how you said this, or when you said this, it brought up this for me. And when you say things like that and you try to educate people, because being emotional intelligent is educating others around you to do better, to understand better, because that's the whole point of the world and why we exist. It really is. And so I was not always like this. I have never felt more myself than I do today. But hard conversations and being very courageous doing that and having confrontation does not come natural to me. It doesn't. I still shit myself when I have to have a hard conversation with my partner, when I have to have a hard conversation at school, if I have to have a hard conversation with my friend, if I have to have a hard conversation even with my mom, because you never know how people are going to react to it. But I've developed the self-respect for myself that I cannot move forward in life unless if I address something. The clearer you are, the more better you're going to be with the relationships around you. The clearer you are, the more you're going to smooth out and have no problems with people. So, what I'm saying here is that what comes natural to me is to suppress and not say anything. What comes natural is to actually want to blow up and shut the door. I'm back. Oh my God. My internet crashed, but luckily, as you were just watching slash listening to, the episode has risen. Yes. So I'm able to, before I go get the kids, to finish it off. None of this came natural to me. Who I am now, how I draw my boundaries, how I speak about a lot of stuff. I'm all for men and women connecting and understanding each other. I'm all for all of this. And why it comes natural to me now is because I always wanted to be the best version of myself. However that looked, it didn't look like I would chop my hair and look like this. Okay, so my pivotal point was I hated living in the state I was living by people always taking advantage of me. It wasn't just what happened with the girls biological, it's everything else. Like I lost friends. When my dad passed away, I lost a lot of friends. They couldn't be there for me emotionally, which impacted our relationship because they didn't feel like they should be. That's not real friendship. I lost friends in this situation from having my kids and lost friends after that because everything aired out. So I was over living like a doormat. I wanted to be taken for face value. I wanted to be taken seriously. I'm over people not taking me seriously and walking all over me. Circling back to all of this and into this conversation about how apologizing without action creates manipulation is that when you apologize and you go, oh, I'm so sorry and I will change, and you're saying that you will change, but you never do. One is it goes back into my episode that I created about breaking trust with yourself, because you're breaking trust with yourself by doing that as a person. Also, you're not respecting the other person. You're just like, oh, well, whatever, it doesn't matter, and I'll just do whatever I want. Without change behavior, that's manipulation because you're choosing to not change. So the 3 steps to this whole thing is actually you apologize sincerely, like you actually mean it and go, shit, I don't mean to make you feel that way. I feel guilty and I feel like shit that I created that and I'm not getting what you're saying and how you're feeling. So the first step is accountability. A lot of people really don't have accountability and it's hard. Taking accountability is not, oh, I'm so sorry for that. That's my bad. That's not taking accountability. Taking accountability is actually going, shit, that's my bad. So what is it that I did that upset you? You're showing initiative by understanding, so what was it that I did that makes you feel this way? Once you know, the person will then feed it back to you and go, okay, it's this. Then you can take the action to not do that. When another thing comes up, instead of reflexing and allowing yourself to what comes easy, which is going to be the hardest thing, okay? It was fucking hard for me and it took a lot of learning curve in my dating era, how I was to communicate with guys. Like it wasn't the best. Like I am the best communicator I've ever been now to date than I've ever been in past dating experiences and relationship. What comes natural would be, it depends on the argument. Sometimes I lean into massive anxious attachment, so I'll want to fix it right away. It really depends on the situation. I can fall into either. When it comes into like I'm having to tell them what I need, I would not do that. That's too confronting to me. So I've had to learn that over time, just being like, okay, because I felt like I was being a bitch if I was more assertive to be like, okay, it hurts me when you do this. When you say things like this, it comes across to me in this way and I don't like it. And it makes me feel like you do not respect me. It took me a long time to be able to say those things. So your instant reaction is going to be to do whatever it is that's natural, but it's trying to have the self-aware, I don't want to do that again. What do you need from me to make this better? Then you do the thing. And then over time you'll learn. So the first step is accountability. Okay, I fully own that. What is it about my action made you upset? The second step is, okay, changing the behavior. And that's going to happen over time. So the more things come up in your relationship, in your friendships, whatever, you by trying to change every time, like you're And what I mean by changing every time, you're not changing who you are. That is not what I'm saying. You'll find out if someone wants to change who you are in the first 6 months of your relationship. Any beyond that, and if you're still asking that question, then you're not as invested as you say you are. No one is trying to change you as a person. It's about getting better at communicating. It's about changing a behavior. You're not changing who you are. You're changing the behavior that you're doing. That is the change. That's what's the person's annoyed at. It's not who you are as a person. Don't take it like it's you. It's an action you did. So you need to go, okay, what's the pattern here? And then every time something comes up, you get better at communicating and you get better at stop doing the same fucking action, is really what it is. The third thing is literally moving forward. And you're asking the same thing from that person as well. If you're in a relationship or if it's a friendship, it's about changing the behavior that you're used to doing and to stop that. That's literally what they're asking of you. And then you can keep moving forward. And that things come up, like different fights and things like that, then you keep changing the behavior. That's how it works. And so no one is asking you to change as a person, because I know that's how that can come. It's like, oh, but you're changing me. If that's how you feel, you either really need to assess, like, the person that you're with, if you're in a relationship and you're saying that, like, oh, you're changing me, is the person that you're with, like, worth it? If it's not, you need to get out. I think it's not for you. If you're saying, oh, people are changing how I am, you've now got to understand, why do you think that? Why do you think the person's trying to change you? Is it because people have tried to change you and conform you before? Because generally that's what's happened in life. And that would have, because of high school, of peer groups. When we grow up, we want to fit in with our friends. We want to, we've got to like be in this community and be together. Like, that's the thing. So no one's trying to change you as a person. You are enough. It's just there is patterns and behaviors that you're doing that you don't realize, that are from past relationships and from how you've grown up. So you've got to understand that. And it's about, okay, you're both coming into, like, in a relationship standpoint, you're both coming into a dynamic, and you're trying to bring your best self. But then you're going to have parts of you that you're so used to communicating in the way that's going to be brought up too. So how to diffuse them. So when you're in a healthy relationship, both parties want to bring the best, all right? And they try to do their best with what they've lived with and everything like that. We try to bring our best self. It doesn't mean that we're not bringing who we are. It's that we want to be the best for that person. Okay, so when conflict arises, it brings up behaviors that we can do that we've done in the past. And it's about, okay, I can't do that moving forward. It upsets that person. How can I stop upsetting that person? Is by asking them, what do you need from me? Or how can I do better? Like, what do you need me to change about this? What don't you like about what I am doing? It's about asking those questions and using your emotional intelligence in that way, being like, okay, and you change the behavior. You're not changing you're changing the behavior. I'll say it again. You're changing the behavior. You're not changing you. There is nothing wrong with you. And stop trying to tell yourself the story that they're trying to change me as a person. That has nothing to do with it. They're trying to change the action of the behavior you're doing. They're trying to change the behavior to help you show up better for them. If you're in love with someone, you want to be better. You want to do better. Otherwise, if you are like, oh, this is just who I am, you don't love them enough and you need to go. Right? And if a friend says that in a friend dynamic, they don't want to be your friend enough. Anyone who comes from ego like that, they're not really in it. And it hurts, right? It hurts to say that. I really wanted to say these things as well. Forgiveness is a gift. It's not a reset button. So just by apologizing, yeah, I'm sorry, that's my bad, I'm taking accountability and I'm going to change the action. Don't get it crossed that forgiveness is, oh yeah, sweet, we're all good. No, forgiveness is a gift. The fact that they're forgiving you for fucking up is a gift. Holy shit, they're giving me another chance. You don't get multiple chances. You get multiple chances by people who don't understand boundaries. So this is what I want to like make clear. It's a very hard hitting episode, but I really feel it with all the shit I'm seeing right now. We all need to hear it. And Stoicism teaches responsibility, not excuses. So you're teaching by having this whole thing and airing this out with you guys. I'm trying to help teach you guys responsibility, not by leaning into your excuses of, oh, they're trying to change me. The reason is this, it's them. No, projection, ego, get rid of it, work on it. Anything that takes you out of, okay, I understand and I will do better. And you actually try to change, that is it. And going back to being the most self aware person, it is going to be hard to have the other person catch up and to, okay, I need you to do this, like, and all those sort of things, and I need you to change. That will be hard. All right. It really will be to watch because you're going to feel impatient. You're going to be like, what? This person doesn't get it. But you need to tap into your patience and to come from understanding because as they're trying to change their behavior and get better and you're helping them grow, because I do believe that can happen in a relationship. If they're receptive to it and you see their changes, no matter how minimal that they are, you've got to then work on yourself by patience is the biggest lesson here. Because the more that you're like, oh, hurry up, just fucking get it. You're not getting it. I don't think we're meant to be. That is ego. That is fear. Everyone has their own time. Not everyone grows up knowing this stuff. It's about coming from love and understanding. So the more that you can sink into your embodiment and deepening of understanding it, the better you will be, honestly. So I know it's a very hard episode to hear. It really is. And it sucks with the stopping and starting and that. Hopefully I've edited it to be like a lot more flowy. But honestly, guys, like this is shit we need to hear these days. And it's not about they're trying to change you. I mean, you will know if people are trying to change you as a person 6 months in. It's whether you're going to be truthful to yourself about it or not. But it's about people wanting better for you and wanting you to grow. And part of growing is uncomfortable. That's why a lot of people don't want to do it. But people who are listening here want to grow, want to change for the better, and not change as a person in the sense there's something wrong with you, but change in the way you communicate, how you can come across, how you can form your connection in your life. And this also overflows into your kids as well. This is like for everything. The more you get this stuff, the more your kids are going to get it, which is the biggest success of all because you're paving the way for the future of adults. They're going to be an adult one day, you know? Anyways, I know it's hard to hear. I appreciate you guys all for listening and following along. You're more than welcome to DM how you feel about the episode and everything like that. And I can help you as well. It's a big change, but it's definitely what the world needs to hear right now. But I will talk to you guys on another episode.